What's up, Batman fans? This is James with Hunter Comics. Those of you who've been watching the channel for a while know that I'm a ridiculously huge Batman fan, to almost unfathomable extremes. I could honestly stop everything and just do a YouTube channel just about Batman, and I would love it. Been collecting him forever, I honestly feel like I might just actually know everything about him. Well, one of you asked for some depression-proof Batman keys. What are 10 Batman books that just will stand the test of time and weather any market? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you my 10. And for each big expensive Batman key I'm going to give you, I'm also going to give you a very obtainable entry-level and yet underrated and underpriced Batman book. What are some huge Batman books that you can think of that you think are going to weather any storm? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to start us off with a Batman 181, First Poison Ivy. As long as you make sure that that center is attached, you've got yourself a nice expensive key here. And what's interesting about this is this book went for decades in the weirdly affordable pile. Finally, people woke up and said, you know what, the First Poison Ivy should not be so affordable. And you know what, it is expensive now. Furthermore, it's a character that just continues to gain popularity. So I don't think this is going down anytime soon unless some warehouse finds like 50,000 of these. And let's give you an underrated one, Detective Comics 524 from 1983, first full appearance of Killer Croc. A lot of people think 357 is the first full appearance. Nah, it's actually Detective 524. This is the first time you basically find out he's a crocodile. Awesome, underrated, great, affordable entry-level key. Next up is going to be Detective 298 from 1961. It's the first appearance of the second Clayface Matt Hagen. We are ignoring the 40s for this list because the 40s is just so tricky that, yes, there is an actual first appearance of Clayface in the 40s, but it's just so hard to get. There's only a pocket of them left, so it's just not really obtainable. This is basically the first real Clayface key that's very expensive, but it is doable. And this is as classic as it gets. I know this story by heart. Matt Hagen is not my favorite Clayface by any means, but this story is amazing. Big deal. This book, it ain't going anywhere. Let's give you another great entry-level Batman key. Most recent entry on the list, Batman number 6 from 2012. It's the first full appearance of the Court of Owls. It's also rocking an incredible, iconic cover. Is this book where it is because of the cover? Is this book where it is because of the significance? You can take your pick. This thing's awesome. Next, big boy Batman key is going to be Batman 251 from 1973. This is the most recent entry of my top 10 big Batman books for you. Neil Adams classic. I was thinking about doing 227 or 251. I opted to do 251. This thing is a beast, and it does fluctuate a little bit. It does go with the market, and when the market does go low, it goes low a bit, but it's still going to be very expensive if you have this book. It is money in your pocket on any day. It is as classic a cover as a classic cover can really get. And for a lot of people who are Joker collectors, this is some of their grails, especially if you can get it in high grade. It's tough. Let's go ahead and give you another entry level. How about Detective 469 from 1977? It's a double key. First appearance of Rupert Thorne, crime boss and corrupt politician, as well as Dr. Phosphorus. Not to mention a really great cover. And you can find this thing in perfect condition raw for like under 40 bucks. Absolutely wild. Our next big boy book is going to go to Detective 267, the first appearance of Bat Might. Now, this is basically Batman's version of Mixia Spitlick over in the Superman land. In fact, people often put Batman and Mixia Spitlick together. What I like about this is, A, it is the 50s. 50s Batman is always very desirable, especially if it is a key, but he's also on the cover. I love when you get a first appearance where they're on the cover, and this one definitely has it. I love Batmite, definitely underused in recent years, but that's okay. That means there's only room for him to be put back in stories. That's right. This is a great one. It actually is a little more affordable than some of the previous entries I just mentioned, but it's still going to run you a pretty penny. Nice one right here. Let's give you a nice entry level with Batman 307, first appearance of Lucius Fox. This is, I'm kind of sharing a secret here. I have thought for years that this is the most underpriced Batman book of all time. First appearance of Lucius Fox, it's a big deal, late 70s book. Dude, you can get like a mint copy for 30 bucks or less. It's absolutely wild. I do not understand it. Batman 307, fantastic entry-level Bat book. Next up is going to be Batman 171 from 1965, first appearance of Riddler in the Silver Age, and a very iconic cover. So Riddler had been almost 20 years since he'd been in a Batman book. So this is, for a lot of people, their really only shot at getting a major Riddler key. Yes, Riddler did first appear back in the 40s. You're probably not going to be able to afford that copy in this lifetime. So if you want one that's still very expensive, but you can save up for it and actually obtain it, you got to go for the Silver Age one, and here it is. It is a pretty penny, but it's always going to be money back in your pocket. People always want this thing. And let's go ahead and give you another entry-level Bat book. This is going to be the first appearance of Scarface and Ventriloquist. Of course, it's Detective Comics 583. I've mentioned this book before. I've said I've felt it is underrated and underpriced before, and I'm saying it again. You can actually get this thing for perfect condition raw, $30 or even less, depending on where you're going. Little recommended reading on that. I really liked Tom King's take on the Ventriloquist. Keeping it moving, we've got Batman 139 from 1961, first appearance of Batgirl Betty Kane. Now, I'm mentioning this book instead of the first Barbara Gordon because I actually think that one does move around a lot. And frankly, for a book that's supposed to be tough to find and a huge key, I find it a lot. So we are actually going for the first Batgirl with Betty Kane. It's an awesome book, early 60s, hard to find. It's going to be a nightmare to find this in anything over a mid-grade, and that's what makes it so special. If you have a high-graded copy of this, you've got something really neat. It is, after all, the first Batgirl. All right, and then with an entry level, I'm going to give you, speaking of Batgirl, I'll go ahead and give you Cassandra Cain. I still think this is a very, very underrated book. This is a $50 bill if you've got a mint copy, and it's worth every penny. It's an awesome cover, it's an awesome story, and it's an awesome character. Go ahead and like the video if you are a fan of Cassandra Cain Orphan. Next up is going to be Batman 233, first appearance, cover, and origin of Batwoman. So I just mentioned Batgirl, and that's great. This one's even better. This thing is really expensive. Good luck finding them without spine ticks. Trust me, good luck. This thing is an absolute beast. One of my favorite, expensive, and yet I still find to be underrated, underpriced, major Batman-related key here. It's going to cost you a lot, but I do think that one has legs and is going to last forever. I'm also going to give you another entry-level book. We've got Detective 457 from 1976. One of my favorite covers of comics. Forget just Batman. I think this thing is beautiful. It also is the first appearance of Leslie Tompkins, who's a big friend of Alfred and the Bat family and a main character in the Batman universe. I'll never understand it, but you can actually get this thing for like 30, 40 bucks. All right, now we're in our top three. These are my top three bulletproof Batman books. Number 3, Detective 227, first appearance of Martian Manhunter. That's right, Martian Manhunter's first appearance is in a Batman title. And talk about a character that, even in comics, but especially movies and TV, still hasn't really had his big day. I'm always trying to find some great Martian Manhunter reads, and there's just not enough out there. Nothing really has truly happened with this character yet, so I would definitely say to watch out for this one. This is one of my favorite books to hunt for. I still don't have a copy, so it's not easy, but once you get it, you got something gold. Let's give you another entry-level Batman 321. Classic Len Wein, Dreadful Birthday, Dear Joker. This is a classic Joker cover. Worth every penny of like 25 bucks that it's going to cost to pick this up in perfect condition raw. And this is one that looks particularly good on a wall. Second to last is Batman 121. A lot of Batman villains are bulletproof, but especially Mr. Freeze, because it is the 50s Batman and not 60s. It makes it even that much harder to get. Another one that's very commonly found in very low grade. It is tough to find this thing in pretty condition. And when they get into pretty condition, you better believe they get expensive. Mr. Freeze here to stay. Ironically, he was Mr. Zero when the issue came out. But this is as classic as it gets. I would say most people's list of Batman villains probably include Mr. Freeze in their top 5. And his first appearance is not easy, but once you got it, you're sitting happy. And we'll give you an entry-level Detective 566, another classic cover, Dick Giordano cover, and I just love a good Rogues Gallery cover. And this one has it all. So a nice 80s Batman cover for you here, and you're not breaking the bank to get it. Now for my number one most depression-proof, bulletproof Batman book. I think it has to go to Detective 168, Origin of the Joker, and the iconic Red Hood cover. Let's face it, folks, you're not getting a Batman number one, which is the first appearance of Joker. Or maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe you're Mr. Wall Street Employee of the Year. I don't know. Maybe you can swing for that. But the reality is 99.99999999999999999% of us aren't going to have a Batman number one. So you have to settle for the next big Joker key. And there's lots of great ones from the 40s, but again, we're avoiding the 40s and talking about books that can actually be obtained. This is probably the hardest to obtain on the entire list. This is a nightmare, and this is very expensive. But this is as iconic as it gets for Joker. It's almost as iconic as the original Batman number one. This thing is a beast. One of my favorite covers. Most Batman fans put this book on such a pedestal. This is the one to swing for if you can. And lastly, I'm going to give you the final entry-level Batman key, and it's going to be the first appearance of Tim Drake from 1989, Batman 436. Believe it or not, this thing you can actually get for 15, 20 bucks. And I'm talking near mint. So this is a really special one. It is tough because of the darker colors to get a perfect spine on this one. Nothing hides, but you know what? Yeah, every collection needs the first Tim Drake, and it doesn't hurt you to grab it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the list. These are my bulletproof bat keys. And again, we didn't even talk about the 30s and 40s. So what am I missing? Drop it down below, and I will see you at the next video. Keep on hunting. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.